Hello, friends and family of First Presbyterian. Today begins what is known as the Holy Triduum. Holy Triduum, that's a big word, isn't it? This is the time the church marks the most important events of our faith journey. And those events begin with Maundy Thursday, then Good Friday, then Holy Saturday, and it all culminates on Easter Sunday. These coming days form the core story of our faith that distinguishes us from all the other faiths. These days form the key stories that shape and inform the followers of Jesus. So all Christians are going to mark these days with services. Tonight at First Presbyterian, we'll have our Maundy Thursday service. Tomorrow, there's a community Good Friday service at noon. And then comes our Easter celebration of the resurrection. This Easter will be extra special as we welcome new members and celebrate the baptism of one of those new members. It's going to be a special day and a joyful day. In preparing for this weekend, I've been reading the scriptures and praying and thinking about what to say to you this year. There's so much that could be said, but I promise not to share everything. But in my video devotion, I do want to share a couple of thoughts to get your mind and heart reflecting upon the meaning of Holy Week and Easter. Consider it a preview of coming attractions. Now, both thoughts are inspired by the great preacher of the last century, Harry Emerson Fosdick. One thought is about Good Friday and one is about Easter Sunday. The two titles of two of his sermons had come to mind as I was thinking about this. He had a Good Friday sermon that was called Crucified by Stupidity. He also had an Easter sermon called It's a Great Day for Easter. So, crucified by stupidity. So often we talk about how Jesus was crucified by sin, but Fosdick said we should put alongside of that truth that Jesus was also crucified by stupidity. It was stupidity that cried, "Crucify him." He said it was stupidity that nailed the Son of Man to the cross between two thieves. Indeed, Jesus even said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do." He goes on to talk about the stupidity of the small, narrow, closed mind. He talked about the stupidity of false choices being influenced by the financial interest of the money changers and the moral interest of the Pharisees, and the concern of the Sadducees to appease Rome, and the fanaticism of the Zealots against Rome. Jesus stood against all of those interests. So something had to give. Well, you know what gave. They chose a terrorist instead of Jesus when the time came to making a choice. Now, that was a stupid choice. And then Fosdick said there was the stupidity of the short look, the stupidity of seeking immediate gratification without thinking of long-term results. Jesus was right, said Fosdick. They did not know what they were doing. And that left me with the question, do we? Do we know what we're doing? That's a humbling Good Friday message. So let's turn to the Easter title, because I want to end with a more positive note. His Easter title was, It's a Great Year for Easter. Now, I remember the title, but I could not find the sermon. But I do remember it was written in 1941. That came at the tail end of a Great Depression that had lasted a decade. It came at the beginning of World War II. The Nazis were on the rise. Hitler was taking over that part of the world. They were conquering and on a movement to conquer other countries around them. Wars were breaking out. These were some of the darkest days of our history, leading us to go to war. People were worried and anxious about the present and the future of the world. In the midst of all that, what does Fosdick tell his people? It's a great year for Easter. Well, if that's true, I'm thinking this is also a great year for Easter, for the same reason. For what is Easter but the reminder that God is involved in the mess of all of this, and God ultimately will not let darkness, death, and despair have the final word. And while it may feel and look like a Good Friday world, remember, as one preacher said, remember, it may look like Good Friday, but Easter is coming. That's the core message that resurrected the life and the faith of those first followers of Jesus as they lived through their Good Friday. May that message of resurrection resurrect us as well. I look forward to sharing this holy Triduum with you, and I look forward to seeing you hopefully on Maundy Thursday and especially on Easter Sunday, whether it be in person or online. And as always, may the peace of the Lord be with you.